Hey, this review is for the iLife v80 Max mopping robot vacuum. We picked this up to try to automate the sweeping jobs in our home, and it does a really good job. It's been a while since we've had a robot vacuum in our house. We think we got like one of the first or second generations of vacuums way back in the day. But so there's a lot that's changed in these newer models, and this has done a really good job.
Yeah, it's been doing a really good job of the day-to-day sweeping, vacuuming, picking up those little bits that sometimes come in on your shoes. If you know, when you first come in, little crumbs here and there. It's been doing a good job of getting into the corners of our kitchen and our living room. It does great around table legs and chair legs, as long as it can fit through. But even when it can't fit through space between a chair and a table leg, it goes around in such a way that it hits that entire floor area. It can sometimes go under our sofa, and it makes its way out from under our sofa. We have a sectional, so there's a lot of legs on our sofa, so there's a lot of potential for it to get stuck under there, and it hasn't been getting stuck, and it's making its way back to the base really well. We're not finding it dead and lost somewhere under furniture.
And if you're using it with the base, then you can actually do the scheduling on the app. And the app is actually really good. It's got, it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's not confusing or complicated. It's got the scheduling in there. You can set the suction power that's on there, how much water the mop is using. And of course, it has a map where when you're using the S cleaning pattern, it'll actually map out kind of the route it does. So you can see that it's not actually missing things, or, if it doesn't get everywhere you want it to get, you'll be able to see it on the map. The map isn't interactive. You can't do anything or schedule zones or anything, but it does track really well where it's kind of gone and obstacles in the room as well. There were a few cons that we didn't love about the vacuum. One was that the mopping was just generally underwhelming. Yeah,
it didn't do the job that we thought it would do for mopping. It'll do a great job of a daily wet dusting of your floors. So if you have a lot of dust or a darker hardwood color that you need to be mopping a lot more often, I think it'll come in handy for that. It's not going to clean any kind of splatters or food that might get on the floor, say near the dishwasher or near the stove or anything like that. It's not going to be mopping up bigger things like that. But a daily dusting of the floor, it'll definitely do a great job of that. Something that I really liked about the mopping, though, is that it is very quiet since there's no suction involved. The machine, the unit itself, the wheels, the motion of it, it's very quiet. That's something I could see us using at night.
It also won't do puddles. Like if there's a puddle or a spill on the floor, it's not going to be useful for cleaning that up. It'll smear it around.
It would just smear it
just
around,
drags the mop around. So there's also no roller on it. So if you're planning to do carpet, there's no turning it on. There's no roller thing. So that is, I guess, a pro and a con. One pro of that would be that it's not going to catch all the big hair and get tangled up like some other ones would. But the downside is that it's not going to do the greatest job on a carpet. And then the other downside with this particular model is that you're having to swap the tanks out. You swap the dust bin out. It pulls out really easy out the back, and then you just swap it in with the mopping unit. You fill it up, top it up with the water there, and but I mean that's one thing that's just going to do, when you're scheduling the mopping to be done at night, you have to make sure that tank is full, and true. The tank will last one spin around the house kind of thing. But really, it may not have all of the latest gimmicks and features as some of the mops on the market are going to have, but that's a trade-off for the price. I mean, It's significantly a much better price than some of the fancier robot vacuums you can get, of course. And so for a lot of people, that's going to be a real important point, is the value that you get from this robot as a vacuum. It's going to do a great job in so many settings.
I agree.
And so for anybody who's not worried about the latest gimmicks and features and just wants to set it and let it work regularly on the schedule that they've got, this is a great introduction vacuum.